Hey guys, welcome back to Margo Watches Movies. My name is Jake Margo, and today we're going to be talking about the first 4 episodes of Stick, a new golf comedy released on Apple TV, very much trying to emulate the success of Ted Lasso in this kind of easygoing, affable show, uh, somewhat low stakes, with some comedy spurred in, some moments of human drama. It's very much following the Ted Lasso formula, though not nearly remotely as good. And what has held this show back so far for me, what made it have such a rough opening 4 episodes, and it's really the last episode really grated my nerves. But we'll bookshelf that for a little down the line. Let's start with the positives. The golf action in this show has been surprisingly good and surprisingly compelling, and I do think golf as a sport is very cinematic. I watch like the Masters. I'll watch a couple tourneys, but I'm not like a huge golf guy. I don't really golf on the weekends, but I do like to watch the Masters. But I'm in no means a golf expert, but I do find golf films super compelling. Like I really like The Greatest Game Ever Played, starring Shia LaBeouf. Obviously, like Happy Gilmore is like a staple of my childhood and one of the funniest movies of the '90s. And the golf action is compelling in this show. So if they can stick to that in the later episodes, because we haven't got enough golf, I think, for like what would separate this show from other shows. And it's easier to film than the soccer sequences of Ted Lasso. So, like budgetary wise, we should be getting more golf. So I think we've had one tournament. We've seen like Santi hit some shots, some really cool shots, but they really need to lean into that in the back half of the season for me to like wholeheartedly be able to recommend this show. Because again, the golf is compelling, and Owen Wilson, who has always been a very likable actor. I don't think he's a very good actor. He's got a very limited window and range that he sticks in and he excels in when he does that. And this is definitely a show that is tailored to his strengths, where he's playing a golf by the nickname of Stick, the title of the show. He was a somewhat of a golf prodigy. He was a budgeting superstar on the tour. He's a professional, we're talking a guy who could have been number one in the world, as the show kind of hints at. And something causes him to melt down, and all of his potential becomes wasted. When we start the show, he's a golf salesman. He is living in a house that his wife, who is filed for divorce, and they're separated. She wants to sell the house. And this is a man where you get the idea that he is completely an underachiever, not living up to his potential, that his God-given gifts. And when he is giving coaching lessons at a range, he sees Santi, who is the golf prodigy of the show that Owen Wilson wants to start coaching, and he sees in Santi a chance at redemption. Also, he sees financial value, and the show is smart enough to not try and work around that. They own into the fact that there is many reasons why he wants to be a protege or be a coach for Sante and take him under his wing as a protege and try and redeem himself in the golf world. And the show also stars Mark Maron and Judy Greer. Judy Greer plays his ex-wife. Mark Maron was his former caddy and is basically like his only remaining friend. And there are some really grating moments in the show as far as like how they write some of these characters. Like Santi is just littered with the angsty teen trope, the kind of entitlement of his generation, and he can be annoying at times because you kind of can empathize where he's coming from, and they flesh that out in a way, like with his backstory, what made him not keep pursuing golf until Owen Wilson just sees this guy with like one of the gold, he has the golden swing at a driving range, and he just knows that this guy is a phenom. And but the back third and fourth episode, he really acts pretty spoiled, especially with the lengths that Owen Wilson's going to like get this guy a chance. And that doesn't take away from the fact that Owen Wilson has his own selfish motivations, but still, he's doing a lot for the kid. I mean, a lot. To the point where I think it even hinders the characterization of Santi's mom, who joins along, and she's kind of supposed to be portrayed as this like very wholesome, loving mother, and she is. She loves her son, but the way she negotiates for what she wants from Santi, the things she asks for from Owen Wilson's character Stick, uh, is pretty crazy to me. Like ridiculous requests, ridiculously entitled, and the show just kind of rolls with it. Like they establish Owen Wilson as like this really good sales guy. He's always pulling a hustle, but he doesn't even like counter negotiate her financial requests. He just does it. Uh, so I think the characterization, besides Owen Wilson and Mark Maron, who are both well written and they're easily the highlights of the show so far, is all over the place. And in the last two episodes, we're introduced to a character who's actually pictured here on the screen for the preview of episode 5, named Zero, who, in my opinion, is one of, if not the worst TV character ever conceptualized, at least in the last 10 years. She has the potential to single-handedly tank this show. She really does. She is an awful, grating character. So terribly written. Just like, think of like a freshman in college who goes off to college and just gets completely radicalized and is coming back Thanksgiving lecturing everyone at the table about the evils of capitalism while tweeting on her iPhone. It's just so exaggerated, out of literal left field, in a show that's supposed to be affable. Like, it's fine if you want to imbue some politics into a show, but this is like the worst case scenario for a person, you know, uh, and a character in a show, that it just doesn't belong. And then the fact that she's now going to be a part of the team, I mean, I'm intrigued by the potential, because again, we've only seen like Santi play one tournament, and he's clearly phenomenally gifted. But we have this very tight rope now of I'm intrigued by the potential of the golf storyline and the coach player relationship between Owen Wilson and Santi. I'm intrigued by where his trajectory can go as a golfer, and seeing him become more successful, getting to bigger and bigger tournaments. I'm intrigued by that aspect because it's the classic trope of a good sports movie or good sports show, and it has that there. But then on the other hand, we have the angsty teen trope with Santi. We have this character Zero, who's going to kind of serve as a love interest, who's lecturing on, again, the evils of capitalism, and she doesn't eat meat because methane and it's ruining the world. And she's just like a cartoon version of like just a like radical freshman liberal in college who, you know, spent like a whole semester labeling steaks at the grocery stores with like names for the cows, and it's just too much in this show. It does not belong in this show, in the same aspect where I wouldn't want to see a white nationalist show up and be his caddy either. It's just, from either side, it's so far on one end of this political spectrum that it is so grating. Her name is Zero. She is a zero character. With my rating scale, she is an absolute dumpster fire of a character. Again, we're talking about potentially one of the worst TV characters ever devised, ever conceptualized and put to screen. That bad. So my curiosity about where the storyline with Santi's golf career goes, juggled with having to deal with her for the next however many episodes, 4 to 5 to 6 episodes, we're at a crossroads of making or breaking this show. So besides that, There's been a couple nice human moments where they really uh, like in pathos, emotion that they do a good job of enveloping into Owen Wilson's character, similar to how you would get those moments in Ted Lasso. A very heartbreaking reveal of why his career flamed out. So I'm interested in that aspect of the storyline. I'm not interested in getting lectured by this character and serving as a means of conflict between Owen Wilson trying to coach this kid up to his full potential while having to deal with her kind of serving as like, you know, he's an evil coach, he's manipulating you, don't listen to him. Like, so I really hope they don't go that route and just mine conflict out of this. I'm sure they're going to try and serve her a redemption arc. I just don't know if her character is supposed to be as unlikable or if it's just bad writing. I really don't know, but so I mean, unfortunately, keeping every factor in mind, I don't think this show had a very good start. I put it slightly below middle of the road, leaning into the bad, very bad category. But I think there's potential in the back half of the season to pick things up if we focus on the golf and the journey and the redemption of Owen Wilson and Santi realizing his full potential as a golfer and seeing this kid become a superstar. So that's all for me. I'm curious to know what you guys thought. If you've watched the first 4 episodes, am I a little, am I being too harsh on her character? Am I being too harsh on the show overall? It is an easygoing, affable, like breezy show. So it's an easy watch, so I could recommend it in that where it could get better. It's short episodes, like besides a 40-minute pilot, uh, the first episode, it's like 25-minute or so episodes. So it's a kind of a breezy watch. Got some nice golf courses in the background. You got Owen Wilson going, wow, wow, wow. So it's, there is potential, but it's a tightrope walking between one of the worst characters ever created so far and the potential that the show has on the other side, which is the golf aspect and the relationship between Owen Wilson, his caddy played by Mark Maron, and Santi. So uh, give me a like, give me a subscribe if you like the review. I'm curious to know what you guys thought. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to keep watching Stick, or do you think that this is the first miss for Apple TV this year? Let me know what you guys think. That's all for Margo Watches Movies. My name's Jake Margo. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.